Hi, I'm Professor Angus Kress Gillespie from the American Studies Department at Rutgers University, and our show is called Old Ways of New Jersey. Now, many outsiders see New Jersey as a place of industrialization, pollution, high taxes, and toll roads, but off the main highway are vestiges of the old traditional way of life that we've been showcasing in this series. Jokes and derisive comments assume that New Jersey is unhip, bourgeois, undistinguished. But those of us who live here know it's a fascinating place with many hidden treasures. For example, I'm here in the studio today with the Reverend Marion Hannah, pastor of the Antioch Christian Church in New Brunswick. Perhaps you may never have heard of him, but among fans of black gospel music, he's a living legend. In his own way, he's advanced and embodied the American ideal of individual creativity, conviction, dedication, and exuberance. His accomplishments and sense of commitment have enabled him to benefit others and to enrich our community. It's my pleasure to welcome the Reverend Marion Hannah to our studio today. Reverend Hannah, you grew up in Beckley, West Virginia, which I understand is a little town about 52 miles away from Charleston, the state capital. Can you tell us a little bit, like, what was it like growing up in such a place?
Miserable. Well, we had a great life in West Virginia. It used to be 72 miles, and when they put the turnpike in, it turned down to 52 miles. And so this time of year was horrible. I never seen nobody stuck on a hill, though. Everybody was always moving, but the snow and the ice was real bad this time of year.
Was your daddy a coal miner?
My father got killed in the coal mines.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I was 9 years old.
So that must have been tough growing up.
Well, I had an older brother who was Dr. Hanna. He basically took the place of my father at 16 years old. He went into coal mines to work to make sure my mother could survive with us. 8 children.
Wow. While you were in high school, I assume you were exposed to traveling gospel groups that came through town.
Yes.
Do you recall any of them?
The Fairfield Four, the Soul Stirrers, and a group called the Kings of Harmony.
Yeah.
Which, if you heard Claude Jeter with the Swan Civetons, he sang with them, and he passed just this past week. So it was a great experience. A man named R.H. Harris was with the Soul Stirrers. He was the father of people of my year, because everybody wanted to sing like R.H. Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he influenced Sam Cooke also.
Yeah. What about the Blind Boys of Mississippi? Did they come through town?
They came later. They came after I was about ready to graduate from high school. That was in 1952.
I see.
But they came with such a force that, you know, I was always anxious and wanted to meet them.
Yeah. Well, in those days, Lloyd Woodard was with the group.
Lloyd Woodard was the manager of the group.
Yeah.
The other fellow that sang tenor, name was Brother. I never really got Brother's name. All we know was Brother. J.T. Kleckscale.
Yeah.
Then the fellow that played for us by the name of Bobby Jackson. When he went to the Blind Boys, he influenced them to ask me to sing lead after Archie Brownlee died. Yeah.
When you were still very young, you went on the road with the Pilgrim Travelers, as I recall.
Well, I sang with the Pilgrim Travelers.
Yeah.
Very young. When my mother, I wasn't allowed to go only a couple hours on Sunday. After that, I had to be back home.
Because you were still in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I graduated in '52.
So your mom was pretty insistent that you stay in school.
Oh yeah, because I called her from the road once and said that I was going to another town, and so she said, I think one of the managers put him on the phone. And so whatever she told him, they drove me right back to my house in West Virginia.
She frightened him.
I think so.
What was it like traveling as a professional black gospel singer in the South in the 50s? Because, of course, this is before the Civil Rights era.
That's before we could go to a hotel. It was really miserable. I hate to think about me trying to do it now, but then it didn't bother me. Six men, we always six, sleeping in the car, setting up. You know, we didn't lay down. We set up. It was a horrible experience because then the white Southerner had not been cultivated to meet us coming down, you know, through Mississippi and Georgia. It was after Emmett Till had got killed that I realized how serious it was.
Goes down in the Mississippi Delta.
Mississippi Delta.
Yeah.
I think a place was called Money, Mississippi.
That's right.
Yeah. We were there the next evening, I think, or so after. The tension was so great that you could feel it walking the street, at how the folk were looking at you. And so we got gas and left the town. There's another story I'll tell you about that, but we won't tell it today.
Okay. But it was frightening from time to time. We can leave it at that. For the benefit of our viewers, let's take a look at a clip where you are one of the lead singers.
Okay.
Something got a hold on me. Hey, got a hold. Let me tell you what it did. It kicked me.
Eventually, you gave up your career as a professional singer. What was in your mind at the time? You fatigued? You tired of it? What happened?
Survival. I had to really give it up because of the family life. I had to support my children, and I couldn't do it singing in a gospel group. And so I started the Marion Hannah trucking company, and from that, I would sing on the weekends or whenever I could. Mm-hmm. And then I would go, I'd sing, come back tired, driving the trucks half tired, but still I survived it.
Yeah. So the truck business was your day job, and the gospel singing was your passion.
Yeah. Let's say it this way: the gospel singing was my hobby.
Yeah.
Truck driving was my
occupation.
Occupation. It really. The only thing that I had to lean on.
Yeah. And when did you receive the calling to be a preacher?
In 1979.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I had moved then to South Jersey to Asbury Park. And I was going to a church by the name of Union Baptist. And so there I got the calling. And immediately after I got the calling, there was 2 churches that had been looking for a pastor. I neither knew how to pastor nor preach at that time, but then they wanted me to be there.
So you had to jump in.
I jumped right in, but when I got the calling, it was like, I don't want to be no preacher. I want to be, if I'm going to do anything, I'll be a gospel singer. But then the Lord had different ideas about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you study? You studied theology for a time?
I went to New Brunswick Theology. This was after I became pastor. I found out that the knowledge that I needed to continue to preach was not available. And so one of the preachers in the Methodist church whispered in my ear, you need to go and get some education.
Book learning.
Book learning. Because you got all the other stuff, you need some book learning. And so
the New Brunswick Theological Seminary was the place.
New Brunswick Theological Seminary.
And in time, you founded the Antioch Christian Church here in New Brunswick.
No, I didn't found it.
Oh, you didn't found it?
No,
okay. It was up and running?
It was established in 1922.
Oh, I didn't know it went back that far.
Yeah,
okay.
it was one of the oldest churches in town.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, First Baptist Somerset came out. It used to be Lincoln Gardens. First Baptist came out of that church. They used to meet at the Antioch Church when a preacher by the name of Reverend Woody. Then Reverend Charlie Brown came, and then Buster Sores, of course, who did a magnificent job to the church. He really moved it in the right direction.
And when did you take over?
Over the Antioch Church?
Yeah.
1982.
Wow.
1982.
And I assume you take an active role in training the choir.
I don't want to take credit for it, but I did. Yeah, we did. But my son, Lamar, the choir was up and running, but when Lamar started, he put a new spirit in there, and all of the songs basically would be geared around his dad. Yeah, so every song that they sing, I'm supposed to know it so that I can sing it also.
Well, I don't want to get in trouble with the other folks in town, but I think that we should say that the Antioch Christian Church Choir is one of the very best in central New Jersey.
Well, don't let me get in trouble, but I'll tell you, I think they are.
But no disrespect to the others.
No disrespect to the other people.
For the benefit of our viewers, let's take a look at a clip of the Antioch Christian Church Choir.
All right.
One day while Jesus was away, that dear brother died. Yes, he did. Now Mary was running, she was running to Jesus. She said, Master, if you had been here, my brother would have died. Now Jesus said, come and show me where you're buried here. Show me where you laid it down.
Well, you know, in looking at the history of the music, there's rap, there's blues, there's jazz. Why have those genres gotten more attention than gospel?
Because they're not saying anything. And as long as you don't say nothing, people to try to figure out what you're saying. By the time they figure out, you sold 1 million. because we basically use words. Whenever we sang, we said words.
And the words have meaning.
Words had meaning. Groups like the Dixie Hummingbirds, every song that they sang, you can understand every word that they say. So I really don't know. I guess it's a new era where the beat and not saying anything is the way to go. I would have been a millionaire if I'd have came along right long, and now I would have came because I know how to do that.
Well, one of the things that bothers me, and perhaps this shows my age, is that in contemporary urban gospel, oftentimes the drums and the electronic instruments tend to drown out the voices, and
Exactly.
it really bothers me.
Yeah, I noticed at the concert that you were bothered by. Yeah.
I always try to get them to adjust those loud instruments down so we can hear the voices. Well, I'd like to take you back many years and tell us a little bit about Thomas Dorsey. He's the father of gospel music, and perhaps his most famous song was "Take My Hand, Precious Lord."
Yeah.
Did you ever have a chance to meet him?
Never met Tommy Dorsey, but I was singing a song in the wrong direction ever since. When he created it, I don't think he meant for it to be sung like I sang it.
You put your own stamp
I
on
put
it.
my own self into the song, basically. I think he'd be proud of me singing it like I sang.
Do you remember the story about how that song came about?
I vaguely remember that song and Amazing Grace, how it came about. The author of Amazing Grace's name, he was a drunk. I can't remember his name right
That's
off.
all right.
Yeah, but those stories behind that really impressed me, and so it's like part of the life that I've been living, and that's how I minister my songs, is how I feel about the words of the song. And I think that everybody that sings ought to know what the song really means, rather than to just jump up and start singing it.
And you have to put some emotion into it.
You have to put yourself into it. In other words, you have to relive the songwriter's what he was thinking when he was writing it. You know, like when Thomas Dorsey wrote "Precious Lord," he had some difficult days, and he could not make it, and so he penned the song, "Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on and let me stand. I'm weak, I can't take it, and so just take my hand," and it's very understandable.
Very powerful. Very
Powerful. And that's exactly what happened when I sent my father. I got killed in the coal mines in the early 80s, 9 years old, and that song and "Lord, Remember Me" went on the cross of Calvary. My father loved that song, and that song had lived with me, and I always relived that song, every word.
And you think of your father when you hear
I
it.
think of my father just like it was yesterday. I'm far beyond 9 years old now. So, yeah.
Well, going back in time, I think the period between the 1940s and the 1960s, arguably the golden age of gospel.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Harmonizing Four,
Yeah.
the Dixie Hummingbirds.
Swan Silvertones.
Yeah. What were the conditions in those days that nurtured the music? How are those times different from our own?
Well, you take every gospel singer was created equal. Regardless of how much popularity you had, you still had to go through the South with your group, not being able to stay at a hotel, not be able to eat at the restaurants.
You have to go in the back door.
Back door. One experience that was in Brenda's home. They said you can come in and eat, but you got to go in the back, and it was back where they throw the garbage out. You know, while you're eating, slapping garbage in a dumpster in the back. So it was a horrible experience. I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to get killed.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
In traditional gospel, where you have a male quartet, there used to be sort of like a sweet harmony, but at some point it changed to a harsher style. Like even the Soul Stirrers, didn't they have somewhat of a harsher style?
Yeah, they
and how do you
changed the
explain that change?
Well, excuse me, everybody tries to identify with the time that we're living in.
Of course.
And so they feel as if they stay with the old traditional harmony, that they're going to lose some benefits from the public. You take like Sam Cooke was one who, when he was singing gospel, harmony didn't change out of groups until after Sam Cooke changed to rock and roll. When we sang in the Apollo, there were like scouts out looking for somebody who could sing like Sam Cooke, or sing something that they could use. I don't know if you remember Otis Blackwell, who wrote for Brooks Benton. All of those people had me in the studio trying to get me to change, but all my songs were emotional. With trying to get emotional in it. So.
Yeah, well, in the 1950s, rock and roll comes in, rhythm and blues, and I'm thinking of Ray Charles and Otis Redding. They sort of crossed over into pop music.
That's because the money was better.
Well, that leads me to my next question.
Okay.
Were you yourself ever tempted to make that crossover?
I had attempted. I was in the studio of MGM. The vice president was trying to convince me to sing so that I can make more money singing, and I thought about it. But then he mentioned to me that you can't use the word Jesus in your, if you mention that word, we don't need you. I said, then you might as well just get rid of me now, because I don't know how to sing without saying Jesus. And so that was the end of my career trying to be a rock and roll singer.
And you never looked back?
Yes, I did. I did. But that was a song that they wanted me to sing. I don't know if you remember. It's Tomorrow Night. And they gave me a song. Otis Blackwell wrote a song for me that says, "Baby, are you mad at me?" I would sing it, but then, my members might be listening, and they said, "Oh, Reverend sings like that." Yeah, but then a few weeks ago, I was invited to a gathering, and they wanted me to sing the Sam Cooke songs, Tennessee Waltz, and all of this stuff. I sang a little bit of it. I still can sing if I want to. Yeah.
Well, I imagine you're growing up in West Virginia. You must have been exposed to country western music as well.
Oh yeah. You didn't hear me sing my country western song, did you?
No.
It won't be the church's fault if you don't make it to heaven. If you die and your soul be lost, don't put the blame on the Reverend. Then I do the yodel.
Oh, the regular Hank Williams and Jimmy Rogers stuff?
Was it Hank Williams? Yeah, he's from West Virginia, from Parkersburg. Yeah, he used to sing Candy Kisses wrapped in, and that's about all we could hear. There was no other music on it, so we learned that real good, country western gospel.
Perhaps that came in handy down in the segregated South.
Did I tell you that story?
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, one of those persons was sitting on the front of an old-fashioned store, and he asked in the Southern way, could we sing like Hank Williams? And
He thought he was putting you on the spot.
Well, he was. They didn't play with us. They would say what they wanted.
And you better come through.
And you better try to come through.
Yeah.
Let them make fun of it. They couldn't sing, but I did sing Candy Kisses Wrapped Up in Paper. Mean more to me than any of yours, and then I yodel. That was one of the great times that this man said, anything you want in this town, you tell him that I said, give it to you. And he said, if you ain't got no money, I'll pay for it. So it paid off at this time, even though we thought he was being very harsh at first.
He bought you a meal?
Bought a meal, gave us gas, he did everything. It was I wanted to go back and sing for him some more.
It's quite a touching story.
Yeah, it
was, melts your heart. Yeah.
Well, at first I thought that he was being very vicious.
Yeah.
To ask a black guy to sing a white guy's song, and knowing that he may fail in the trying, we didn't know what the end results, and so I became popular even with the fellas I sang with.
I remember not too long ago we had the Five Blind Boys from Mississippi at Rutgers nearby, and I recall that you had sung with them, but of course the group changes over the years. How had it changed?
Well, it changed to the point, if you notice, if you were there, the whole audience that was there was waiting for me to sing a song with the Blind Boys of Mississippi. But the personalities of the guys in there, they're afraid that you're going to take something from them. I'm not looking to take nothing from them.
Because they're professionals, they're always a little jealous, a little worried.
Yeah, weary.
Yeah.
They'd heard about my success with the Blind
They were afraid you might steal the show.
No, they thought maybe I might take some popularity away from them.
Ah, okay.
That's, if you notice, you were there.
So you had to hold back a little bit? Or?
Well, I started out for the mic, and he took the mic and turned it around. I know he's in Ohio. He may not hear this, but I mean him no harm. I don't need to sing gospel anymore. Not on the road, not in a professional way.
Just we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about Archie Brownlee, because he moved away from the Jubilee style to a more hard gospel style. What was it about Archie Brownlee that made him so well known and so popular?
He was unique. He was what Nat King Cole was to jazz and style that he sang. Archie Brownlee, Nat King Cole, and Sam Cooke all had different kinds of voices. Archie had a semi. He was sometimes harsh and sometimes smooth. And so back when folk were having hard times, the song Nearer My God to Thee would touch people. And Archie was saying, I'm going to leave you in the hands of the Lord. And if I could hear my mother pray again, and those songs fit the occasion at that time. And so that's why Archie was certainly one of gospel's best. Julius Cheeks, to my knowledge, is the best, but then Archie was also.
I have some of his records. Well, Reverend Hannah, I must say, you have an encyclopedic knowledge of this area of human endeavor. It's truly impressive. And I think your parishioners are very lucky to have such a knowledgeable pastor. And thanks so much for coming out to East Brunswick to share your knowledge with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Gillespie. Can you put that in writing?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.